find out in this story of wolves, witches, and giants called the Sleeping Beauty. Once upon a time there lived a king and queen who had everything anyone could wish for. A dishwasher, a TV, a magnificent castle on a mortgage, a beautiful kingdom. But they had no children. At last, however, the queen gave birth to a baby daughter, and the king decided to hold a splendid christening party to celebrate. He invited friends and relations from all over the kingdom and Lewisham, and most importantly, the 7 fairies. Each fairy in turn offered the baby princess a special gift, the gift of love, of beauty, and the gift of money. Just as the fairy of happiness was about to bestow her gift, the great doors of the banqueting hall burst open, and there stood Wicked Witch of the Forest. Oh dear, blustered the king, realizing he had forgotten to invite the witch. The witch approached the cradle and, bending over, whispered into the child's ear, "Princess, on your 15th birthday, you will prick your finger on a spindle and die! Die, die! The wicked witch drew back from the cradle, and with a swirl of her cloak and a clap of thunder, she hailed a taxi and was gone. In the horrified silence, the kind fairy of happiness came forward to the crib. "You shall not die, child. I shall use my powers to save you. True, you will prick your finger and then sleep for 100 years, after which a handsome prince will come and rescue you, and the evil spell will be broken." On the day of her 15th birthday, the king and queen were away on a state visit to Catford. The princess decided to explore the narrow staircase that led up to a tower. At the top, she found a door with a silver key in the lock. As she turned it in the door, it sprang open, and there was an old lady. "What are you doing, old lady?" "I'm spinning, child. Have you never seen the spinning wheel before?" "No, never. May I have a try, please?" No sooner had she taken the spindle when, guess what? She felt a sharp prick on the tip of her finger and instantly fell down lifeless on the stone floor. Cackled the witch as her prophecy was realized. The king and queen were horrified and hillified when they heard the news of the princess. He decided that his sleeping daughter should be placed in the most comfortable bed and should lay in the same hall as her christening feast all those years ago. By now the word reached the ears of the fairy of happiness. She realized that sleeping for 100 years was all very well, but who would look after you when you eventually awoke? She decided to act at once and sent everyone in the palace to sleep. Even the king and queen, which was a little frustrating as they were playing cards and the king was about to say, "Snap!" which was very strange because they were playing bridge. Horses fell asleep in their stables. The cook fell forward into a huge bowl of porridge. The cat, about to pounce on a mouse, froze in midair. Chambermaids slumped on their beds, soldiers at their post, as the last embers in the kitchen fireplace blew out, leaving an eerie silence. Starting as weeds in the cracked pavements, plants grew unchecked into huge vines and creepers, completely covering the palace. Outside in the grounds, the little saplings turned into thickets and forests, and around the edge of the forest there sprang up a large city. It was only when a passing prince disturbed an old man snoozing by the road that our story begins to resolve. Deep in the forest there is a palace. The prince, armed with a sharp sword and a pair of secateurs, began cutting his way towards the palace. The witch had set traps to stop young men reaching the Sleeping Beauty, but the prince was equal to all of them. The prince succeeded in reaching the palace. He marveled at the cobwebbed animals and people, all asleep and covered in dust and porridge. Here was the king and queen with their playing cards, the cat ready to pounce on the mouse. But there, oh, baby, on a bed in the middle of the hall was the beautiful, luscious, sleeping princess. Gently he walked up to her and kissed her, and to his delight she opened her eyes and smiled at him. At that very moment life returned as if only a second had passed and not 100 years. Snap, said the king, reaching for his dusty cards. The kitchen fire started to flicker again, and the cat pounced on the mouse who had waited 100 years only to be caught and eaten. Oh, hard luck, brother. The king and queen were so happy with the prince for waking them up that they agreed he could marry their daughter as soon as he wished.